Hi friends, good evening, and this is your host Ankit Khanelwal joining you from Delhi, India. And today is 4th June 2020, and we are doing a Podcasters Thursday today on IBM TV, and we have an amazing podcast lined up from across the world, and so let's see how the podcast will share their podcast stories and what do they do and how they are surviving during the COVID and pandemic situation. Uh, I would like to welcome Jim Need on our show. Hi, Jim. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I am wonderful.
Namaste.
It's good. Namaste, and it's good evening to you.
Good evening. Thank you.
Yes.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well, and I really been interested in this podcast. I listened to the how-tos because I was not familiar with how do you actually do the broadcasting? Because the podcast
Okay.
idea has always been attractive to me, but I was not familiar with how to go about doing it.
Yeah. But Jim, I'll tell you, podcast is, it started with audio podcasting and they are doing it from since ages now.
Yes.
I think I would like to welcome Sasha as well. Hi, Sasha. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Sasha.
How are you
And I think
doing?
Sasha is having some podcast stories because podcast is going on since a while. It's just that the technologies keep on changing and the way broadcasting changes. And
Right.
it started with audio podcasting and now it's all about audio, visual, and all those things.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so you just have to have the right app, it seems to me now.
Not about the right type. It's the app is mainly useful for broadcasting. You can
Right.
you can record a podcast on your mobile phone as well, and you can broadcast it.
Okay.
So it's as easy as doing a voice note on your messenger or a WhatsApp and sending it to your friends and family.
Yes. But who do you send it to so that other people can?
So for that you need to have your own channel. So you can have a channel on IBM TV, you can have a channel on Apple Podcast or Shopify and things like that. And people, those companies, they do some reviews and they do some due diligence before they you can have that verified channel, and that's
Right.
how you get followers.
I
Same as
see.
YouTube. Same as YouTube. And now, if
Right.
you are aware about YouTube Music, is something which is coming up, and that is also not a new technology or a new platform. But YouTube has started a music stream where there are no videos. It's more about songs and music and audio. That's how YouTube is working right now. So there are a lot of technologies, and it's keep on changing over and over again.
Right.
And
That's
I'm confident that Sasha must be having some podcast stories because it's going on since a while. And Sasha is a good, learner, and also, he follows a lot of things. Sasha, what do you think about podcasting?
Oh, I think it's part of our everyday life. You can ignore it or you can do anything what you want about it, but it's there and a lot of people follow it and it's a fact of life. And if you want to be part of a life and part of sort of advancing community, I think you should explore it for your own good, whether you listen to quality podcasts or you create your own and proliferate it. So I think it's a very viable alternative to what what is alternative. Actually, it's even hard to qualify what would be alternative to write long letters or um, to do some other obscure things. No, podcast is definitely part of our life, and I like social media with all those plus and minuses. They're just there, you can't ignore it. That's it.
I wanted to say that broadcasting podcast has always appealed to me because I have the face that's made for radio and
Yeah.
and not television. And so it seems like instead of broadcasting my videos of my face, that my voice would be broadcast, and that was part of the appeal it's always had for me.
Well, your broadcast is coming really soon. You know when? On June 13th, when we will have a contest, and Alexander Shirov will play Mikhail Marin in a contest of two games. So we
And so
figured out that you will broadcast and make commentaries for the game, but not the commentaries where you say that white is better, white has two bishops, or white has extra pawn or so. Not that. You have to try to help people to predict the next move.
I
That's
see.
what's important. It's not important whose position is better and who has advantage and what opening was played or so on. No, it helps people to predict the next move. That's the key of this
Right.
contest.
That's
And
fascinating.
yeah, you never
And I
tried
think
it.
do you start predicting at the opening right off the bat?
Right from the first move.
I see.
The first move already. You see, there is a delay. It's 15 seconds forced delay. What that means? It means that people, even if they want to play e4 instantly on the first move, the system will not allow them to do that until full 15 seconds delay will be done. So that gives people chance to look at the position, listen to commentaries, see the stockfish top three suggestions. Then once they
Stockfish is
choose
an
their
engine.
move, yeah, once the move has been selected, now you have to make a decision to put 5 crowns, 25 crowns, or 100 crowns for that particular move. So people need to make a lot of decisions. They have to go through a lot of information.
It's a
This
brand new way of approaching chess. I'm really excited about it. I'd love to be part of it.
But there is no other chess. Look, the chess is being killed as we speak. You know that the live games, there is no such thing because of the coronavirus, and nobody knows when it's coming back. In fact, what Gena Sasonka wrote in his essay, which was published in Russian on chessnews.ru, he goes as far as to say that because of coronavirus, several chess tournaments, if not all of them, were cancelled. I'm talking about live tournaments.
Yes.
If that's the case, when all the scare and coronavirus and travel will start coming back to normal or so on, it will be a huge lag between then and when the chess organizers and sponsors or so on will start to go back to normal tournaments and make the prizes available and for and lodging and all other expenses being paid. And he believes that they will not be in a hurry to do that. Who knows? Maybe it will take a year, 3 years, 5 years, or forever. Forever. Why? Because if there will be more and more online tournaments, and they will be accepted,
Yeah.
there is no need um, to over-the-board tournaments. And don't forget that as organizers, you must know that the economy of chess hardly allows live over-the-board tournaments. Because if you will compare in percentages, what is the prize fund and what are the expenses to cover the travel costs, the lodging, the
They
rent of a
become
playing
very
hall.
prohibitive.
So you see, um, if that expenses are far exceed, if they far exceed the prices, something is wrong there. And most of the tournaments they do exceed
Yes.
the prices. So obviously, if you would put all this money into prizes and cut all the expenses, traveling, lodging, etc., then the prices would be much higher. But it's only in theory, because because how you will get to the tournament, even if you will travel by bus, it will cost you money, and you have to uh, um, probably eat a grilled cheese sandwich along the way, not to get hungry, right?
Yeah.
Oh, and you have to stay in the hotel, and even if you stay in the hall paying $5 per night, it's still money again.
Yeah.
So,
And it'll be noisy. You won't be able to sleep. And
Yes.
but it comes even more interesting. So he's saying, okay, so the live chess, either it's already dead, because I think we had the talk before when you have a world championship, that's the highest live events that you can think of. And you have two super grandmasters, Carlson and Caruana. They're playing 12 games and there are 12 draws. So the all expenses, considering prices and other expenses, we're talking about probably $1.5 to $2 million. So you're paying $1.5 million to watch 12 draws in 12 games. It's
It's a snooze.
what is it, $120 US per draw. It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So I would, if I were to pay this money, I would ask, oh, 120,000 per draw. Can we do it for 15,000?
Yeah.
And not in cash. I'll give you coupons, which would allow you to buy some clothing at the discount stores. How about that?
Yes.
Because that's all I'm prepared to pay for 12 draws. Nothing more, nothing less. I'm just not there. I'm
Well,
just not there. Somebody has to sell it to me. Please, Sasha, give us $1.5 million. We are going to make 12 beautiful draws. How about that? And I say, you know what? I'll give you 15,000 for all that stuff in coupons. And now go and play. Be my guest.
yes.
Okay.
Sasha, you're talking about what many of us concentrate on the downsides of this virus and how it's impacting our lives in a negative way. But you're looking at the opportunity it might provide. You're looking at the upside. It may drive us from these expensive over the board confrontations to an inexpensive online.
No,
Just
you're not. You started right, but your ending was not
okay.
good.
Yes, my opening is good. My ending is
your
not.
observations that something has to be online are correct, 100%. But what is it online? Now, the normal game, what the people are playing on chess.com and chess24 and all other billion sites, there is one huge enemy, unbeatable now and foreseeable future.
Cheating.
Cheating, and one more time cheating. And
Yeah.
everyone who's saying that they're working on it and they found some cheaters here and there and so on, garbage, 100%. Nobody can solve it. And why do I know that? Because I had a talk a year, probably a little bit longer ago, with Michael Khodorkovsky. You know who he
Yes,
is.
I'm.
He's the right hand of Gary Kasparov,
Yes.
who, by the way, if you don't know, he's endorsed our site, Gary
Yes.
Kasparov.
Yes, I
Okay,
do know.
so
You can't get better endorsement.
yeah, so Khodorkovsky told me that there is no way, absolutely, to fight cheating online chess. It's impossible. It's engraved in stone. It's there, so you can pray that people will not use it. Yeah, it's the same thing like because okay, you're a good person. Please don't cheat. It's not good. It's same thing as praying to the wolf who wants to just
Yes.
get the sheep and saying, yeah, she's a little
It's human
sheep.
nature.
She's
We can't
nice.
cure human
She's
nature.
friendly. Don't eat her. No, it doesn't work that way.
Yes.
Absolutely. Furthermore, Genesis Unka went as far as to suggest, okay, he can agree that there is probably no cheating in the top super grandmasters tournaments, like Carlson is doing this stuff.
Right.
And so on. And then he says, although we'll see. What he means by that? Okay, is there are no live tournaments. There is only online tournaments where you can win some meaningful prizes. I know that they're not that great. Okay, look at this guy, Dubov from Russia. Okay, he just won a first prize in his online tournament where Carlson was playing and he beat Caruana at the end of the day. What did he make? $45,000. Well, you know what? I can do that in 2 weeks on the stock market. This is not serious money to begin with. Number two, think about that. Let's say there are 12 people playing in this elite Super Grandmaster tournament, okay? And there are no any other tournaments, there is no live tournaments, nothing. So that's all what they can make, whatever money is their paid. Okay, let's see. Out of 12 participants, 12, 10 are assured of being invited to the next super tournament online. Now, the other two, they will not get invitations. There will be some other chess players who will take their place. Okay, imagine the last round and the Grandmaster who is in 11th place playing someone who is in 10th place. And if he will beat him, he assuring himself a place in the next tournament. The minimum price there would be, say, $10,000, probably even higher. Now, if he is 11th instead of 10th, he got zero, nothing, no invitation to next tournament. Not only next tournament, it's even unclear whenever he will be invited to the next online tournament, and there are no live tournaments. You know what? I'll go as far to say that he would be stupid not to cheat in these circumstances. If he is a family man and he has a wife and he has children, they have to eat, and that's the only source. That's all he knows in his life is play chess. He doesn't know anything else. So what you're telling me, no, you know what? It's not nice. It's dishonest. Oh, so now honest would be to starve his family to death, but
Tasha,
not to cheat and do the right thing. You know what?
Tasha,
No comment here.
you remember a conversation with that bot guy who does the artificial intelligence bot?
Mm-hmm.
So I had a word with him, and we are discussing that how can we make a chess bot, and whatever information you have, whatever information Jim have, and whatever information Nick and all our people have, we can put that into a bot, and you can ask questions, and that bot will have all the answers.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what
yeah.
it's
That's
just
right.
that we need to spend some time and create that bot. And once that bot starts functioning, it's very easy for everyone to understand what's going on. Apart from the chessboard, what else is there in the chess in the life of the chess players?
Yeah, and we will live in much better world because of that. I do believe it. Yes.
Certainly.
However,
The
And I would like
podcast.
to welcome to Rakesh ji as well. Good evening, Rakesh ji. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. Yeah, but Hong Kong's got a reinfection of a COVID-19 somewhere.
Oh, I'm
Oh,
so sorry to hear that.
Yeah, so we're a little worried about that, but yeah, quite, this
so
this
how it started? How it started again?
I have no idea. I have absolutely for so many days we've not had a case,
Yeah.
and yes, suddenly this morning's newspaper said that in a certain suburb of Hong Kong, uh, they were planning to evacuate the building because there was this lady who was a super spreader. I'm
Oh,
not
Okay.
quite sure what is the meaning
a
of that. I
typhoid
think,
Mary.
yeah. So, yeah. So we're sort of slightly disturbed about that, but otherwise, yeah.
Well,
Otherwise, things seem to be okay. Um, yeah.
well, in the
So
United States, we had a phrase called typhoid Mary, which meant she was the original cause of the typhoid plague. And, you know, but the idea that Hong Kong, which was held up as a model for us for how it was handling and coping with the virus, that it can reemerge in Hong Kong is a lesson to the world, because every time we think we have this contained, it pops up again. And
and
so,
it's yeah, it's the suburb is on the Eastern Railway line.
Okay.
It has been traditionally a slightly dangerous line because a lot of traffic from the mainland. So it could have been just somebody who just darted in and darted out and left an infection behind, which unfortunately this poor lady picked up. And yeah, it's a bit sad. We're not perturbed because we're used to this kind of thing, but it's a bit Yeah, it just shows how pernicious
Yes.
this virus is. It's absolutely pernicious. It is. Nobody's got this beat. Even in New Zealand, there were some nurses who flew back from France, and they too got infected, got some infections into New Zealand. So, um, of course, right now there's only one. I think they've recovered. So there's only one case in the hospital, and that
Yeah.
too not in the ICU. So seems all right in New Zealand, but Hong Kong's had, I wouldn't say a large scale resurgence, but certainly a very specific resurgence.
Rakesh, do you know the expression whack-a-mole? We use it in the United States. And every
Right,
time we whack it, it pops up again someplace else.
somewhere else.
Yes.
Yes. So this
But
looks a lot
surprisingly, I
like
mean,
that.
Hello,
after
Nick.
taking a lot of precautions,
Namaste.
hi Nick, good morning.
Yeah. No, it's just as well that this whole city is still in wearing masks. Nobody is without a mask. So we don't expect a major situation. And see how it's a very tall building, and they're already evacuating most of the residents,
Okay.
or at least yeah. So the government takes pretty comprehensive steps. Yeah. The Otherwise, lovely weather today. I was very happy. A lot of sunshine, and I like sunshine.
Yeah. How
Yeah.
about in Toronto, Sasha? How's the weather there?
The weather is fantastic. It's almost plus 30 today, and
Uh,
yeah, it's one peculiar thing about Toronto is that sometimes it's kind of cold, and it's cold even in May,
Uh-huh.
and all of a sudden it comes to 30 plus and even over that, and I don't like it either. So I'm happy Canadian about weather.
He's always happy.
Yeah.
Always.
All Canadians
Yeah.
are, it seems.
All Canadians, yeah. So he felt
Except-
he's a happy person from Moscow, so he moved to Canada where they're all happy. In Moscow, they're all serious.
Except-
doing something.
Except one Canadian who took 20 seconds to respond to a difficult question.
Yeah. Every now and then you get them. So sorry, I'm a little late today. My dear wife had to go to the doctor with a fever.
Oh dear.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's not good
Sorry to
because the
hear
thing
that,
is,
yeah.
and she's getting tested obviously for the coronavirus. And we're like, oh great, now what do you do? And but I don't know yet. We'll know later on today. But I'm going like, they don't come with instruction manuals. In other words, I can't pull out the manual. Okay, if your spouse has coronavirus, here's what you're going to do. They give you like nothing, and but we'll see. We go to Duke. We're literally, since we moved up to Raleigh, we're literally 3 minutes from the hospital, like no kidding. Where I was living in the boonies in a country club, I'm in a different country club, urban country club. It was like 20 minutes, 25
Right.
minutes at least. I mean, it was cool. I mean, it's a little nice to live out there, but to go anywhere is just a real pain in the neck. Just the way it is.
And you know
So-
you're going to get first class treatment at Duke. So
Yeah, Duke's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the thing is, part of the other reason of moving up here. So Ankit, do we have any podcasters today? I know the startup showed up yesterday, which was unusual. How are our podcasters doing?
The podcasters will join us in some time. A couple of them have rescheduled and canceled the show because of their own reasons. But we're expecting, I think Ben will join us right at 11. So maybe in half an hour he'll join us. And then we have a couple of podcasters after that.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. So we do have a couple of them. No, it's been interesting because the startups actually showed up yesterday, and there's been a history.
But Nick, after a marathon call and after a lot of discussion, then only they come up on the board on Saturday.
Oh yeah. No, I know that.
It's difficult.
Yeah, but
It's difficult.
see, talking to the startups yesterday, a lot of them had existing businesses. They were
Yeah,
successful,
yeah.
at it, and then they're doing a new business. Okay.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
ones that are saying, hey, I've been working for a company, I've been an employee all my life. Now I'm going to go into my own business. They're like, woo. Their odds of success are really, frankly, pretty poor. And yes, Jim.
Well, that was me. I was just raising my hand as you just
Oh,
described me.
you were working for a company and then you
I was
decided
working
to
for
start?
Charles Schwab, and it was a very high pressure, highly compensated job. And
Right.
I thought, you know, I've got a great idea for a business.
Right. Yeah.
And I funded it by myself, and
Right.
I did not get any investors.
Yeah.
And
And then what happened to your business?
it did not continue to exist at a certain point.
It continued not to exist at a certain point. I mean, by the way, that's the typical story. And so what I try to do is bring a dose of reality that
Yeah.
your typical failure rate is high in the high 90%. In other words, like if you're and that's if you're funded by outside parties. So if you're a Las Vegas gambler and you're going, well, I'm going to go put it on 31 and I'm going to bet all my money on it. And you're never going to, yeah, you have a chance of winning, but your odds are stacked hugely against you. Now, if you had a successful business before and it's a spinoff, and we saw somebody yesterday who was doing these pod homes, his probability for success is actually extremely high because he's spinning off a business that he's already has familiarity with and already has been successful with and has the contacts, the support, the sales. I mean, there's so many things that you have to do to have a successful business. It's you have to wear so many hats. And the odds are just stacked tremendously against you. The other gentleman we had, I didn't think had is because he was in a high capital intensive business.
Yeah.
Forget it. I mean, the thing is, he's going to crash and burn. The only question is when and where. I mean, it's just the reality of the situation. Where Ankit, we had the other guy on who invested in service-oriented businesses. They have a probability of success. Why? Because they don't carry inventory. They can keep their overhead low. So if somebody says, hey, I'm going to open up a tax return preparation service, you got a high probability of success. If I'm going to build software that does tax preparation, I think you have a high probability of failure. I mean, you're not going to be able to compete against the TurboTaxes and the people that have dominated the market. But it's it's an interesting show. But we also find with startups, some don't show up. But I've also found out on media, you get these people that want to ask questions, they want to get engaged, they want to give me a dissertation. Yeah, you guys don't see that yet, but Jim, you'll see it when you start your own show. Okay, okay. So the thing is, Sasha sees it. In other words, like it's not like, hey, come on, be on the show. It's like, I got some questions. How many people see it? What am I supposed to do? Blah 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 blah. You go into all these. You have to spend a lot of time with them. And as an attorney, I go, time is money. So you're going to burn my pocketbook, me spending time with you on this. So, I don't have time for that. So, it's just the nature of the beast. And
Nick,
it is.
Nick, you mentioned number 31. And I must tell you a story right now before I forget.
31. Okay,
there is one in Toronto. One very wealthy guys who came from Russia with lots of money, and but he, the problem is he didn't know really what to do here because he didn't know English, he didn't know really what he wants to do and whether he needs to do anything. So, but he wants to make money like all of us. Mm-hmm. So he developed a system where he would go to Las Vegas on a high rollers table, roulette.
Right.
And he developed a system where he put $1,000 on each number and zeros and so on, except one. So he will make every turn, he will make $1,000. So if he will do it, say 100 times, he will win $100,000. And that's okay. $100,000 for him was very satisfactory number for a few hours of work.
Right.
So the first turn, he puts everything except 31. And what do you think that game? 31. So the guy
31. Okay. Since you're in a great story. Okay. I was in the Bahamas. This is the last time I gambled. This is a true story, right? And they said, here's what we're going to do. If you give us $10, we're going to give you $20 worth of chips. And I go, wait a minute. That's got to be a winning equity deal because 10, I got 20 worth of chips. So I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put it all on red because if I double my money, because I had chips, I had to convert it to cash. So I'm going to put it all on red, double my money or lose it all. I really don't care. Right. So I put it all on red thinking, well, I got a 50-50 chance. it came out 00, which is the house's edge. For anybody who does, the roulette. In other words, like you have red, black. The house's edge on red and black is 0 and 00. And I was
But
going,
wait a moment. If it's 0 and 00, don't you get half of your money back by putting?
it landed on 0 or 00. It landed on 00, and I lost all my money. It had to land on red or black. Okay, in other words, I doubled down on red and black. Hey, look, I'm going to cash out, right? It lands on 00. I got wiped out. I was going like, gambling is not my thing. I just can't do that. I was going like, the lords of gambling are going to punish me at any point in time. But that is
Nick,
the house edge.
Nick, here's how I would have done it. You gave them $10, and they gave you $20 in chips.
Sure.
I would have gone to another cashier and colored out.
Oh yeah, I just cashed out. I'm not let you do that. Yeah. No, the thing is, you can also play the Martindale system. I mean, some of the people I used to hang with are literally professional gamblers in Las Vegas, and one guy is like a world backgammon champion, and he's an expert chess player. Typical, right? And he goes through everything, and he just shows me what all the edges are in the house and how you're supposed to play this and that. He goes, but generally, here's what you do. You don't play anything in Las Vegas. You go to private groups and play poker because the thing is the house's edge. So, and he knows what he's doing, and he's calculated his hourly return is $170 an hour. So if he's not making $170 an hour playing, he's out of the game. And this is usually poker, because what happens is he goes, I know all the good players in Las Vegas. They sit down, I pick up my chips, I leave. It's like chess. If you know all the good chess players and the grandmasters sit down, you pick up your pieces and you leave. But then the 1,200 players show up, or the 1,600 players show up, and you go, hey, we're game on, baby. You know what I mean? It's beat time for me. And he goes, the difference in chess is that the top player will dominate the other player, and the other player has really no chance.
Unless it's online.
But in Las Vegas, they
different.
believe Lady Luck's going to come out, okay, and take care of it. He goes, listen, Lady Luck and backgammon, no. High stakes poker, no. Okay. He goes, in the long run, I'm taking them every time. And they may be good in Des Moines, Iowa, because this is what I do for a living every day. So the guy in Des Moines comes in, hey, I'm a good poker player in Des Moines, and Drew excuse me, I should use his name. He cleans the guy's clock. I mean, literally, it's just the way it is. But if a good player shows up, he goes, I know all the good players. I'm not going to play against them.
But the Nightingale system still can be used successfully, which I did many years ago in Las Vegas, when you have casinos on a strip, okay? And they have tables, for example, where minimum bet is $2 and maximum $3,000. So you have a huge spread between minimum and maximum table.
Yeah.
That's what.
By the way, does everybody here know what the Martindale system is?
No.
Sasha knows, right? You know what it is, Jeff?
I do not.
Okay. Now follow the math on this. What you do is assume you had infinite money and you're betting in Las Vegas. You're Bill Gates. You bet $1 on red, but you lose. You double up to 2. And you keep doubling all the time until you win. I mean, that's the theory behind it. Then
you're going back to $2,
where you don't do $1 and double it to 2. You do like $1.50 or whatever, and you actually mathematically figure out the odds. But basically, it's saying, "Hey, I'm doubling up my bet system." Because think about it. If you had infinite,
you have to win at some point.
You're going to win at some point, right? If you had infinite money, you bet $1 on red. You lose. You bet $2. You lose. You bet $4. You lose. You bet $8. You lose. You bet $16. Eventually, you're going to win, and then when you win, you cash out and you go back to betting $1. You see what I mean? It's called the Martindale system. But the problem is, and you think, gosh, you bring a boatload of money, you're going to win on this infinite money system, and the fact is, you don't. Okay, eventually the house takes you because you run out of money before the house does. It's kind of a interesting thing, but you can Google it. It's called the Martindale system. Everybody knows it that is in the gambling world. Sasha knows it because he gambles on GE stock, which looks like a good gamble, by the way.
Yeah, but I want to tell you, on a table from 2 to 3,000, I made also one very significant improvement, and I'll tell you, you're the only one person, except other people here, who know what it is. I stay on 12 and higher. I do not take card on 12.
Oh, really?
Because,
Okay. All right.
because, of-
Yeah.
because, okay, first of all, even if you always play, you're staying on 12 and higher, your
Right.
chances to beat Casino are 44%. It's not so
Yeah.
bad. Because if
Right.
you play the right game, then your chances are 48 and a half. So instead of 48 and a half, you have only 44.
Right.
But
Okay.
44 is still a significant percent. Now,
Right.
if you know that on average, every 4 or 5 hands, dealer must go over,
Yes. Right.
bust. Okay, even if you lose this hand with 12, you stay on 12, okay, you another time stay on 12, but there will be still, it will be busted. Now, if you consider how many hands you're going to play from 2 to 3,000, you have enough hands to wait until he will go bust.
Yeah. Yeah. There's actually MIT had a MIT blackjack team. Okay, because it is true that the odds change. They were running the math on it. The odds change, and all you have to do is count the cards. So basically, you're counting high cards. In other words, you're counting high
You're
cards 10
talking
and
the movie 21, right?
yeah, right, exactly. It was a great movie made on it,
Yes.
and the thing is, it's a true story. And you do get kicked out of Las Vegas. My friend, who's the professional poker player in
Kevin
Las
Spacey
Vegas,
played the lead.
also has to be very careful because he's banned in certain casinos because he has a card counter. In other words, he knows how to play the game. Any chess player would be able to master it, and frankly, a chess master can master a lot of these crazy games, and they do so. One of the top masters. Yeah, one of the top masters in chess is also, I think it's Harrington. He's like a FIDE master. He's also a top.
He wrote fantastic books on poker.
Oh, he wrote, yeah, exactly. Top
Yeah.
poker player. So what happens is this: the chess players go, "I can't make any money at chess; it's too hard." So what they do is they gravitate to poker and they clean house because it's a game and it has a lot of game theory that they understand, and so they gravitate toward that. The good ones like Peter Thiel, and you should Google him if you don't know him, founder of PayPal. You know him, Jim, and because he hangs out here in San Francisco, or Alan Treffler, who also is a triple billionaire now. I don't know if he's still a triple billionaire because his net worth may have gone down to the market, but may have come back up. Who knows? See, the thing is, when you're a billionaire, everybody thinks, "Oh, I got $1 billion in the bank." That's not true. What you have is $1 billion worth of stock based on a multiple of a valuation that Wall Street does.
It's
Okay,
paperwork.
it's paper. It's seriously it's paper. So even Bill Gates was going like, wait a minute. You know, they say I'm worth 100 billion, but wait a minute, it's on paper. They don't understand it's the value of my Microsoft stock if I liquidated it. And the problem if you're an owner or founder and you start liquidating your stock, what happens? Your stock goes down. You see what I mean? In other words, all of a sudden, whoa. You know, so these billionaires on paper literally go, that doesn't mean they have the cash in the bank, nor the securities they can liquidate. They could be held to a stock they can't. And I've worked with several of them before because they're restricted. They're called 144 stock. All the guys that are out there that have this, they're listening, know about 144 stock. Matter of fact, in San Francisco, I was working with a guy who was a founder of Silicon Genesis. The day his 144 stock became open. Now, what does that mean? 144, what happens is they have stock in a publicly traded company, but they can't liquidate it until a release period takes place. This way, the owner doesn't go, I got all my money, goodbye. So it's actually what they call a restricted security. So they hold it. This guy had about 20 million at the time. And he goes, I got 20 million on paper, but I can't spend it. Okay. Then it was released. And the first thing he did, of course, was he liquidated about 2 million. I was there when he called his attorney, and he goes, "I got to get out of this because I want to buy a house for like $1.5 million." And you know, Jim, in San Francisco, $1.5 million is a bungalow, you know. Yeah, but he didn't buy it in San Francisco. He bought it outside the area, so he got a decent sized house across the mountain. And there we go. See legend on reverse. You have restricted securities. Sasha knows all this. He's been involved in a publicly traded company. I went and looked at your CV, Sasha. Of course, I'm not a guy in the diner, baby. You know, you're talking to the master. At least I was.
Nick, wait until we'll start working on a world championship for moves predictors.
No, I want to buy your company because it's a great shell. But I just wanted to change the name, you know, because I'll tell you what, keeping up a public company and all the filings and stuff,
really,
you know, Yeah, it's a real pain. But Sasha's run a public company before. I'm going like, got me
Quite
out
a
of your
few.
mind to do
Yeah.
that. What?
But you know what? At the end of the day, you're in huge plus anyway. With all these headaches and filings and all this garbage,
Yeah.
you're still in a huge plus. Because
Oh, really? Okay.
absolutely, because there is a sucker born every minute, and there
Yeah.
is always someone who is going to buy your stock. Always.
Yeah, well,
So,
see that was my theory. I was going, but see, I run private companies, and
mhm.
I was going like, yeah, Ankit. I know we're moving away.
Nick, I have a question for you. So, from 16th of June, there are no flights between US and China, but there are a lot of investment have been done from China and US. So, how you will manage those things?
I don't get to manage it. I'm not in the airline industry, and so I don't really bloody care. I mean, when this thing will all be over with next year, okay, and then I'll go to Malaysia. I'll meet with Sharif and hang out and go to the Petronas Towers and go
Yes.
play golf and tennis
No,
and do what I do
my
best.
question is little different. That a lot of Chinese have huge investment in US, and now
Yeah.
suddenly there are no flights.
Yeah, well, eventually they'll get over here and they can look at their investments. I mean, a lot of the stuff you invest in, it's just like Sasha going out and buying GE stock. He has no clue where all the assets are hidden around GE. Okay, it's just a little number on a board, and it was trading real low. And I did watch it; it had a bump up since he bought it, and I was going like, I haven't repositioned because I just moved all my stuff so I can go back and play on TD Ameritrade and go play markets. But see, if you play the stock market as opposed to invest in Las Vegas, aka go to Las Vegas, there's positive equity in it. In other words, at a certain point in time, the stocks move this way and you actually make money. And if you want to gamble, just go to the options market. I don't know why, if Sasha's so heavy on GE buy options, but options expire. I've done all that stuff, okay? And you hold your tail going, I hope I'm in the money when the option expires.
Nick,
You know?
I remember many years ago, I had one public company, and I spoke to one broker in Toronto that he would buy X number of shares, and then he would distribute among his clients or so on.
Right.
I offered him some incentives or so on. So he listened to me and he said, Sasha, I'm in the business of selling stocks, not buying.
Well, the thing is, I was telling Kim, I said, we need to raise money for IBM TV. And I was thinking about doing a private offering on that for about 1.6 million. But the thing is, I'll have to talk to you about it, Sasha. I was going, well, I should buy Sasha's shell company because
with a name, Nick, with a name like this, IBM TV, I wouldn't go below $10 million. Offer.
Really? 10 million? Okay.
Think about it.
Yeah, right. Well, the thing is, would you do a private offering? Would you do a private placement or just do a public company?
Hold on, that's a different story. Remember that your overhead, your expenses, legal fees, filing fees, everything else, same as for $1.5 million and for 10 million.
Right.
What difference? You still go spend
you absolutely have a point. The real problem with the difference between 1.6 million and 10 million is what he just said. You go through the same amount of work to raise 1.6 as you do today. There's absolutely no question about it, but no, I do totally understand that. See, my other business, we process the next couple months, we're processing about $8.5 million worth of business. So I get called every now and then. All right, you gotta go talk to those people in Salt Lake, but a lot of the processing, it's pension funding. And in pensions, oddly enough, the way we're structured, we cannot invest in things like IBM TV for a lot of different reasons.
Yeah,
conflict of interest for me, number one. Number two, has to be held by an insurance company. So we're toast. But the thing is, IBM TV on a publicly traded company at 10 million, yeah, we could probably do that, And you're right on that. The same amount of work, and yours truly does not want to kill himself for peanuts. I mean, that doesn't work for me, But I'd rather go play golf and tennis, So
it's the same amount of work if you put in $500,000, which I did.
You put $500,000 into what?
Into my own company.
Oh yeah,
I had all of that work that you're describing. I had to do all of that nonsense, the bureaucratic nonsense.
Right.
and tried to run my business, and it was for $500,000.
Right.
And so if you, like Sasha is saying, go for it, make it.
No,
You're gonna do the
He's,
same
he's,
amount of work.
he's absolutely right, except I'm extremely parsimonious and cheap when it comes to
Yes.
spending money. In other words, if I had 10 million in, I hate to say it, I would park most of it. I would not sit and spend it, okay, because I'm very parsimonious, aka cheap. Because one thing I believe in is long-term viability of the company. In other words, you can spend money on all sorts of things. Wow, buy this, buy that, do this, do that, and people want this and people want that. But listen, if you retain capital, you're always in control. When you have a lot of money in the bank, you have a lot of control. And so the thing is, with IBM TV, we can spend a lot of money on things, so to speak, but we're going to probably increase at a decreasing rate. Where it's like a lot of it's going to be blown.
That's the way it works.
It just
it's a law of diminishing returns.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, thank you, Jim. It's law of diminishing returns on capital, and I like my capital to make money, not lose money, because also make your investors all upset when you lose money. And that's part of the reason why in our pension business we invest in guaranteed annuities, fixed guaranteed insurance contracts, because guess what? How many phone calls I get when the market went down? None. Nick doesn't like to get phone calls from angry people who we have responsibility of their $400 million worth of assets. So I get the minute you do something like a public company like IBM TV, where's the return on my money? Where's my, where's my dividends? Where's this? Where's that? And I get all these I don't want these phone calls. I want to play golf and tennis. I don't want that stuff. The best place to raise that, though, is where you're at in Jim, Silicon Valley. Kim wants to go to Miami, but guess what? Because the people there understand a long-term horizon in terms of making money. In other words, they understand the startups and the ability to cash out. Their understanding of investing is totally different than people in North Carolina that have no money to invest, and people in Miami. And investors generally are looking for returns tomorrow. Google, Netflix, all the big Yahoo, all the big companies out there, Microsoft.
Yahoo is not more big.
Amazon, I don't know if you know this, almost went under back in the 2000s when I was
Nick, for the information, Yahoo is not more a big company now. It's almost at the verge of selling everything.
Who is?
And then good. Yahoo.
Oh, Yahoo. Yeah, Yahoo's toast. I mean, the thing is, it's just like Create Space. I mean, they're toast.
And no one wants to buy Yahoo right now.
Yeah, I was going to have butter and toast with my Yahoo. I mean, come on. They're second place in the market. Okay, when you're how well do you do when you're in second or third place in a chess tournament? Generally,
there's no such thing as third place.
Way down there, winner take all, baby, and the rest of you guys eat hot laser dust. So, it's like when Facebook fought. Facebook fought?
WhatsApp.
Create Space. Was it Create Space? Okay, and Facebook just killed him. It was bought by a public company, and it was bought by the Wall Street Journal. I think it was Create Space or something like that. And they had no clue what they're doing. Hey, we're the Wall Street Journal, so we're better, bigger, better, and we're going to win. No, they're not. They had their rear handed to them. You don't even hear about them anymore. No one's on them, et cetera. Yeah, and same like me. I'm trying to move over to WeMe to get away from this Facebook, but man, it's hard when you're in second place. You're in IT world. You are just getting totally trapped.
And Nick, I'll tell you one more thing. So when you talk about emails, Hotmail was the premier or the most popular email service when it all started, and now no one is using Hotmail.
Oh, really?
Since the
Hotmail's dead. Okay.
AOL was the same way.
Converted into Outlook, but no one is using Hotmail now. And if you talk about Gmail and the email service of Google, more than 100 million users are there. 100 billion users, sorry, not million. 100 billion users are on Gmail. And by 100 billion, people have multiple accounts.
Yeah, but also, Ankit, how does Gmail monetize? In other words, emails and Gmail is wonderful, but how do they get paid? As much as wonderful would say. So Hotmail loses a battle for money.
So I'll tell you. So when you talk about email, so the gmail.com is free of cost, which gives you 15 GB of data. If you want more data, you need to buy that storage. And if you want a professional account on Google, That is a paid service. It's $6 per user per month. That's how they monetize them.
Right. So there's a monetization.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, at the end of the day, you have to have a monetization play. If you don't have a monetization play, you're back to Yahoo toast.
Hey, Nick.
I'll tell you what happens is that with their emails, they are also selling a lot of applications. So if you use Microsoft, they have a lot of applications which you can buy and which you can use it. And over a period of time, you will tend to buy those licenses. Same goes with Gmail.
Hey, no, okay, I understand. Hey, Jim, get me in contact with this guy, Peter Thiel. He invested $500,000 in Facebook, from what I understand, and told Mark Zuckerberg, "Don't blow it."
Yeah. No, that is a guy that knows how to invest. And but
there we go.
Nick, you made me think of an idea here that in Silicon Valley, with all this venture capital money, are they playing a Martindale system? Are they just saying,
over there? Are you kidding me? Come on!
Because they have so much money, they can double down.
The valuations you have for those companies over there are absolutely insane. Yes. And the thing is, like Netflix, for example, I think one of the major pension funds just bailed on Netflix. Goodbye, boom. Why? Because the valuation is absolutely bloody insane.
Yes.
And the thing is, what you see is the euphoria that exists. And by the way, I bailed out on what was it? I shouldn't have. Apple. Okay, I bailed out on Apple. I had it $100 a share. Actually, I think I bought it at 99, not just a couple of years ago, believe it or not. It actually tanked. Now I watched it today. This is where you cry. I should have held it. It's like 300 a share. But
I did that with Tesla. I bought low in Tesla. And then it's like, at 800. I said, no way it can be at 800. And it was.
No, dude. Tesla bail, baby. There's more downside than there's upside in that.
I got out at 400, but now it's at 800. I'm thinking, oh man, but getting out at 400 was good for me.
Oh, you did. Good for you. Because the thing is, Tesla is a bail, baby. Come on, Elon Musk. Eventually, his rocket ship is going to turn around and head back.
Come back to Earth.
And it'll be all over. Tesla will go down the tube, Elon Musk down the tube, everything down the tube. But right now, you guys smoke that silicon smoke over there. And everybody in the world believes it. Oh, it comes from Silicon Valley. It's got to be good. Yeah, baby, let's invest in anything that happens in San Francisco. I left my pocketbook in San Francisco.
But they can afford to lose the money on these startups because if they get a home run, it pays for all the other failures.
Sasha, we need to raise money for IBM TV. We pack our bags. We go to San Francisco when COVID-19 is. We go over there. You open your bag, and they dump a bunch of money into it because they don't know what they're doing over there. They gamble on everything over there. Hey, this will work.
Nick, I tell you one thing. I was on the board of another startup, and we had a great product. It was an educational product. It was terrific, but we did not have the salesman. We did not have the guy that could go in and pitch the story.
By the way, I got Peter Thiel's book. It's like 0 to 1. Great book, by the way, because one of his chapters, I think it was chapter 11, for those who read it, the ones who didn't read it should read it. 0 to 1, great book. He goes, these wireheads, engineers, don't understand marketing. And he goes, here's what they do to marketing. Oh, this guy's in sales. And it happens in my company too. I run an actuarial firm. The actuaries go, oh, these guys are salesmen. I mean, you always get this. I got this intermediate between the actuaries who actually crunch all the numbers and the salesmen who sell the pensions. Okay. And they disdain the salesman. I go, dude, I know these salesmen don't understand anything, but at the same time, they're the ones who bring the business in the door. Okay. And the top guys bring in business all the time, and the bottom guys seem to never bring business in. Okay.
It's really true.
The beast.
I mean, that's been my experience, Nick, 1,000%. And that's why chess players are not salesmen, typically.
Oh, no, they're not. They're horrible. Are you kidding me? But most of the chess players are technicians or engineers. They work back room works. They're not salespeople and entrepreneurs.
Not at all.
And Peter Thiel are exceptions to the rule.
Sasha is an exception.
Actually, yeah, Sasha.
Nick, do you remember that in early 90s, when a lot of Russian grandmasters started to come into U.S.?
Oh, yeah, of course. I was playing at the
Do you
Bermuda.
remember the company Bankers Trust hired several grandmasters to do proprietary trading and
Josh Weinstein.
bonds and so on. And all of them did very well.
Currency trading too.
They were quants. They were basically trading on quarter points. But again, it's the mentality of the chess player on poker translates to trading. Okay. In fact, Patrick Wolf got involved in Cassia trading. Ron Henley does, a good friend of mine.
Grandmaster Nick Fermian.
Yeah,
Grandmaster
they all got
Fermian did
involved
it
because
too.
their mindset is for that. They're wired for that trading. But here's the problem: you can ask Ron all of them. Computers beat them out. They can't
Yes.
do it anymore. In other words, all of a sudden, computers took their job, and that's the
It's
problem.
really true. Yeah.
It's
I think
I
we have Rana joining us from Malaysia, and he also do the World Economic Podcast these days. So Rana, good evening. How are you doing? And how the podcast going?
No, basically, I told you, actually, this is not today. Actually, almost 12 years. I told you, I'm from Bangladesh. So
Yeah.
we do, I told you, I was in Oxford Union, I was in Cambridge Unions. We have a lot of integration with many Ivy League university, even Harvard, in MIT, Stanford. We have a real good integrations. So this kind of conference, academy, many things we do. Even before this pandemic comes, like this, before this COVID-19, we finished like a conference in Oxford University. So we have a strong community, like academicians from around the world, business organizations, policymakers around the world. We have a strong community. So we build up a better ecosystem and we utilizing social media, but we do lot of offline activities. Let's say we have now 200,000 students. Hopefully by 1 year, in between 1 year, we will reach around 1 million students. Those who under like 20 years old, we target to develop their analytical skills, their research skills, and tech engineering and many more things. So this is the thing. It's actually a long history from last 12 years. We do work with around the world. So we just continue our work. That's it. That's it. That's it. So
Wonderful.
so 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 definitely we want IBM TV as our partner because we are more intellectual forum. Like we do policy discussions, we do different kind of online discussions and many more things. So definitely if IBM TV come, because you are media, you have more influence. Maybe we do more intellectual discussion, you do more business discussions or many more things. So we can collaborate together and we can make a effective integrations, and we can move forward. We can move forward definitely.
No,
Yes.
certainly, we would love to do that. And we have already discussed that we would like to do a special show in Malaysia, so as what's happening between India and Bangladesh, especially in terms of business and borders. And I think
Yes.
we should do that. It's just that we need to finalize a convenient time, because
Yes.
that time is a barrier to start those shows. And if
Yes.
we
Yes.
have a convenient time, I think we can start it whenever you are ready.
Yes, I'm actually ready. Anytime you fix your time and everything, we definitely will love to contribute, because how I see the IBM TV, especially your economic discussions, your startup related activities. You have many kind of cultural activities, but I'm not expert on cultural and these things. So I'm sorry about that. But I regularly follow your economic discussion, startup related activities, and many intellectual discussion, and many world famous scholars also come and join in your show. So by this way, we can make a very good bridging in between Asia Pacific and North America.
Yeah.
We do. Even with the Silicon Valley, we have a lot of engagement. Let's say, example, just recent years, like let's say when Silicon Valley they want autonomous vehicles. So Malaysia from Cyberjaya, we produce it and we exchange our technology with the Silicon Valley. So we have some strong ecosystem. So as much as we can collaborate, we will learn. And we are not a media. Most important thing is that media has a lot more influence. Yes, intellectually we do research, we do a lot of publication. So we do definitely. It's very interesting.
Well, Sharif, we actually have somebody. Remember, it's Home Stoner who wants to collaborate and do a special on Malaysia. As a matter of fact,
Okay.
he's been to Kuala Lumpur all the time, blah, 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 and he knows Malaysia. The guy's been around the block longer than I have and knows the territory over there better than anybody. But I think that having a special on Malaysia, because we can run that all the time, would be really
Yes, yes.
good because the people in the U.S., boom, when it comes to Malaysia, we really don't know, except Sasha, who's also been everywhere. But the thing is, I do have a story on Bangladesh, true story. Okay. The guy who was the former chess champion of Bangladesh came to my house
Yes.
in Tampa, Florida. His name is Qazi
Oh.
Shakur, Quazi Shakur. And
Okay,
I
okay. Kazi
yeah,
Shakur.
Qazi
Okay.
Shakur, actually, I played him
that.
almost every day. He was at our house. I'm going, dude, what are you over here for? Oh, there's all these wars over there, blah, 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 blah. You know, I like to play chess. And he started his business over here. And he basically trained me how to play because he was the champion of Bangladesh. So I became an expert player when I was like 15 years old or something like that, because
Mhm.
the guy who was training me was Qazi Shakur, and
Mhm.
so I was going like, dude, was he really the champion of Bangladesh? Because that's kind of hard to do. And so I Googled him. And I found
Mhm.
out you have to Google and you have to do this deep search, and you'll find his name was spelled not like I thought. Quazi Shakur was his
Okay,
name.
okay.
And you'll find him in Bangladesh. And he beat some other guy who was a doctor who had been the champion of Bangladesh for a long time. So
Mhm.
anyway, that's my story on Bangladesh.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
Actually, I can remember like Niaz Morshed, Rani Hamid. They are very
mhm.
famous chess champion from Bangladesh.
Yeah,
I do not have. I'm very honest with you. From my beginning, I am more academics. I
right.
have more academic involvement, so I know this field. Let's say debate arena. I involved with Oxford Union, so
Yeah,
okay,
the debate.
debating I don't.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
So like 2000.
the debate arena over here, they used to have what they call the NFL, the National Forensic League, and it existed in some of the private schools I was at. I used to participate in that. Then they switched it when I went to public schools. They didn't have that anymore, and we didn't get debate until I went to law school. And then they had what they call mock trial and moot court, which
Mhm.
is not a real debate that you're seeing. What it is, it's a simulated trial, what they call a mock
Mhm.
trial. Okay. And then moot court, which is really oral arguments before a 3-panel
Mhm.
judge, which I've done
Mhm.
professionally, both of those. Because after a
Mhm.
while, when you do a lot of it, you go, I don't mind arguing as long as I get paid. Okay, to argue. In other words, you go through this. Okay, you want to argue? Sure. You want to argue on
Sure.
Facebook? Who's going to pay me?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
no, no, no. You just got to believe in something. Okay. Well, you pay me, I believe in something. Okay.
Yes.
That's what you do when you become a lawyer. You go, well, I'll argue
Yes.
your position, but somebody's
Yes.
got to pay me for it. It's kind of a different
True.
deal.